Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. I think I would be remiss not to start talking about ice fishing. Now, I gotta be truthful with you, for my whole life, and I've done a number of TV shows where we went out ice fishing and showed what a fantastic sport that can be. But I wasn't the expert. I had people helping me that do this all the time because this is a very special sport that requires special equipment, special techniques, but more important, it really requires people to love and enjoy this. And it gives us something special in the winter. But maybe more realistically, there's a big group of sportsmen out there around us, maybe you are part of this, that actually enjoy ice fishing more than open water fishing. So I think it's important that we address this as much as we can. There's been changes happening such a rapid pace, like in every other part of life with technology going forth so rapidly. But these changes have made ice fishing almost a different sport. When I was a kid, people would have a spud. They would go out there. They would hope the ice would hold. They would puncture a hole in the ice, and they would let their bait down, and they would either sit over it and watch it, or they would put tip-ups out, and they could watch the flags, and the flags went up, you go running through the snow and try to get the fish that was hopefully still there on the bait underneath. Now, I'm oversimplifying it, but that's what it was like for probably centuries. And now it really is a different sport. The most important thing that I can talk about right now is safety. Safety, and we talk about it. I'll never be able to talk about it enough, but I've had two people that I was close to in my life that went through the ice. One died, one barely survived. Neither one of those people thought that would ever happen. They didn't get up in the morning and think, today I'm going through the ice, because those accidents always happen to somebody else. But if you take that special extra time to address the issues that could keep you safe or that could save your life if you went through, I think that's really important. You know, one of the things I've thought about so much, even in the open water period, is life vests. You know, I hardly ever wore them when I was young because I always thought, again, anything would happen to somebody else. But if you don't think of wearing a life vest if you're going out ice fishing because you don't plan on getting in the water. But if you do, a life vest of some kind could save your life, obviously. And, you know, they make suits, foul weather suits. Those are really expensive, but if you could ever afford one, you're going to be doing a lot of ice fishing. That would be wonderful because they have flotation in them and can keep you adrift. But there's so many other factors. The other thing that I did want to mention, though, before we start our season of ice fishing, is that last year it was different than just about any year we've had before. Most of the waters that become wonderful ice rinks and places where you can safely fish through the ice were not safe last year, that we didn't have enough cold weather, and a lot of the ice was very dangerous. So a lot of tournaments were canceled, and a lot of people didn't fish through the ice as much as they have in the past. Now, that may have saved some of the populations of fish a bit, but I got to tell you, with the advances in technology, and ice fishing has always been an absolute way of life in Minnesota and Wisconsin and northern Michigan and places like that. Since these new advances in ice fishing equipment have made it so that not only can you see the fish before they hit with all the graphs and screens that you have new rods and lures that are designed just for ice fishing that actually vibrate or bounce the signal off so you can see them on your graph. You've got huts now that you can put on top of the ice that are insulated, that have heaters in them, that have lighting systems in them. And my goodness, you can stay in them 24 hours a day and fish 24 hours a day. I mean, you're fishing if you've got something in the water, even if you're playing cards or cooking a meal or something. So what has happened in those states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota is that their DECs have realized that the fish populations are really being stressed now. In the past, they never were. People couldn't endure all those hours on the ice. But now you can fish, like I say, for 24 hours. And it really has had an impact on the populations of all those different type of species that they fish for out there in the winter. And as a result, their take limits have been changed. They don't allow people to keep as many fish anymore because, bottom line and simply put, they'd run out of fish. It's something we need to be aware of, because if we have another really cold winter, then there's more and more people going to be out on the ice. They can stay there longer. And we got to be aware that we need to at least be more cognizant of not only conservation efforts for the fish, but also you can never be too safe. You really need to take, and let's just make it one final thought before we go, is before you go out there, make sure you got picks. So if you do go through the ice, you can put them in dig into the ice and maybe get back out on the water. Have a life vest of some kind. Have a rope with you, so if you need to be pulled out, if you're lucky enough to last till somebody can come and help you get out of there, that you'll have something for them to grab onto. Make sure that you take a spud with you and just tap the ice in front of you. Be more aware that there could be weak spots. Not all ice is created equal. There's weak spots in any big body of ice where some areas are going to be safer than others, and especially shoreline ice. Shoreline ice changes all the time because of fluctuations in the water level underneath. All these things are important factors, and we'll try to touch on all of them as we go forward this winter. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.